Hello and welcome to Live Life Driven Podcast. Hope everybody's having a good week. Up here in Montana, we're enjoying our summer. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about truths on the show and our own realities. And today, the reality is the governor finally succumbed to, the political pressure of the left or whatever you want to call it. He mandated masks for the state, which is actually pretty interesting. I've been to 3 or 4 businesses today, and every single one of them had a sign that said, "It's illegal to force you to wear a mask. We will not do so. We will not be wearing ours. If you don't agree, feel free not to shop here." So I think that is Montana's general answer for the masks. By the way, we are one of the states with the lowest cases of COVID. That's due to population, I'm sure, but also just a lot of the realities that we live in up here, a lot of open space and, whatever you want to call it. So my reality is COVID isn't around, and I've worn a mask 4 times since the beginning. That was only because I went to Costco 4 times. But I'll check in with you next week and let you know how the rodeo goes tonight, because there'll probably be a couple thousand people there, and I'll see what it's like when I go to the rodeo. That's our new family outing every Thursday night, the Brash Rodeo. So, again, I hope everybody's doing great out there, hanging in there. Along with knowing what my own truth is, that I am still very sympathetic to people that are out there struggling in the cities and states that they live in and their own worlds. So don't get me wrong. I understand that many, many people are concerned about COVID and what it means to them, how it affects them, whether it's the illness itself and or the business that you're working in. So all I can suggest is stay strong, stay healthy, do what you can to survive. If you're struggling financially through this, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to throw ideas your way. As many of you know, I'm a life coach, but I'm happy to help anybody through the process outside of my coaching business if I can give you some tips on how to make money. Randomly, my wife and I are a little bit addicted to Facebook Marketplace, and you can take this for what it's worth. But, you got some stuff in the garage that you can clean up or repaint and sell on Marketplace. You might be able to make a few extra dollars. My wife did something really clever. She found basically these 4-legged short bar stools. I think they're probably 36 inches or maybe even 24 inches. They're typically made out of wood. She bought 2 for $25. She chalk painted them on the bottom, so it's like this beautiful blue chalk paint. And the top she sanded and stained. And the lady she bought them from had asked her, "Hey, what are you going to do with these?" And she sent her pictures of the finished product. And the lady's like, "I'll buy those back for you for twice as much." And I just told my wife, I'm like, "Well, you should go buy some more of these if that's the going rate." And she actually bought 4 for $25, and she's probably going to be selling them for $25 to $50 each. So anyways, there's lots of ways you can make money, even during the COVID crisis, wherever you're at. So don't stop being creative. Get out of your comfort zone and figure it out. Be driven. Like I said, reach out to me. You can find me on my Instagram page, Jim Riley Racing. You can send me a private message. We can connect that way. You can find me on Facebook. It's Jim Riley. I think I had one of the early Facebook pages, so it's actually just my name. Other than that, things are going good. I hope people are surviving out there. Now, I thought it would be interesting this week. Justin, who's been on a host on the show many, many times, is actually working his tail off this week. So I thought it'd be interesting to call my buddy Kyle Turley. Used to play for the Vikings. Right now, he's getting a ration of shit, and I'm happy to say that because he's a big voice. He's a voice for cannabis. He started the Cannabis Coalition. He had a CBD company. He was most recently on Dr. Phil talking about his perspective on CBD being a cure or solution for coronavirus. So I called him up to say, "Hey, hop on the show. Let's talk a little bit." So I'm going to turn this over to that recording that I just got off the phone with, and then I'm going to publish this as soon as I'm done. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with Kyle. He is not for the faint at heart. So if you like him, you'll love him. If you're not sure, you'll probably love him still. And if you're anti personal opinion, you're not going to like him at all because Kyle definitely has opinion, but he's passionate about it, he's consistent about it, and he never wavers. So please enjoy this interview I did with Kyle on the phone, and make the most out of the rest of your week. Hey, Kyle, welcome to the Live Life Driven show. What's happening in life these days?
Good to be with you, brother. Everything's good. Trying to just make it through the crazy Corona times.
Dude, I'm obviously a big fan of following you on Instagram, and you are spitting some big spitwads out there on social media. I love it.
Well, this whole thing, I just follow the science. I'm following it. That's why I speak about cannabis the way I do. That's why I talk about not wearing a mask the way I do. That's why, that I live my life the way I do, because I follow the science and I follow the details and I follow the numbers, and the numbers don't add up, and the science is screaming otherwise to what these individuals continue to tell us out here about what's going on. They contradict themselves, as well. Every other thing they say, it's masks are bad for you. Then it's, if everybody'd wear a mask, we'd be out of this. And we'd be out of this in 6 weeks. Oh, we'd be out of this in 2 weeks. Like, which one is it?
Yeah.
I know when I'm being lied to. I'm a father. I know when my children are lying to me, and because they're not good liars. They don't know the tells they're giving away. And I'm just, observing this entire scenario here and realizing, the rest of myself and the rest of the country, everybody's being lied to here. We are not being told the full truth.
Yeah, it's funny you just said truth, because a lot of times on the show I talk about knowing your own truth, right? So what that means to me is the environment that you live in and what you know to be true for yourself, not what you see on the media or hear from your friend of a friend, but when you go out in your own community, what do you know to be the truth? I was out all day today. The governor just mandated masks in the state of Montana. I didn't see a single Montanan wearing a mask, and all of us have been healthy since day one on this thing. It's like, what is my truth? My truth is we're healthy, and I believe the same as you. There is a lot of smoke in the air, which is unfortunate. So I think we just need to focus on our truths and, like you said, the science and the numbers.
Yeah, the truth and what you see is due to the science, is due to what is truly going on out here, and the truth of how you deal with a virus. And, the majority of people in an area where you are that's proven to be not stricken by this virus like other areas. And what is going on? You're out and you're about. Everybody is not wearing masks. Everyone is intermingling and going about their lives. And that's how you track scientifically a virus, because then you can start pinpointing. I mean, you can go back to the movies, go back to Outbreak, go back to all these movies that they have, these scenarios that they've already mocked up here in Hollywood. And I'm sure they've got government assistance on this. And you look at the past scenarios of where we were. I'm a big numbers guy, like I said, and data guy. And I just, use this smartphone for the reasons that it's, listed, to try and become smarter. And I punch in, every now and then a few key words. And I just punched in, the last time that I remember something like this happening. And I'm not just talking about the virus. And so I punched in Rodney King and virus.
Yeah. And
sure enough, Rodney King comes up, and so does the Beijing flu of 1992. That was an epidemic out of control, and the media was running with it. And we're going to be in a pandemic here soon. And then Rodney King happens. A VHS tape hits the airwaves, and the media has full control of that scenario back then. We did not have social media. They could have shut any of that down at any point in time, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And
wow.
You look at the correlations between history and the events that take place. And I'm sorry, but I'm a patterns guy. I look and I see patterns. And if you fool me once, shame on you. If you fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm not getting fooled again. I was in Moreno Valley, California, and I had the National Guard surround my high school with M16s. And this, I never heard of this virus thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's, what's happening here, where there's no doubt that this is a political football game being played. Is there a virus? Maybe. There is every year. There's over 200 viruses that are known to attack humans, and over 2 million that are unknown. So please tell me what a vaccine is going to be for, and why anyone would do anything more than improve their functioning immune system, which God made to defeat all of these 202 million viruses that are out here.
Yeah, my wife said when we take the kids out and somebody shakes your hand or you touch something, the other person's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We're not supposed to touch each other. My wife's like, no, please give us some germs. We want to make sure that we're building up our immunities because God forbid when the flu comes around next year, nobody's going to have any immunities. They're going to be beat down with the flu next year. So it's crazy. Hey, Kyle, I could talk to you all day about what's happening with this COVID thing, but you're no stranger to a little controversy. And when this thing all hit, you were posting about cannabis cures COVID-19. I know you got a ration of shit over that, but it seems like that's coming full circle. And even when you were on the Dr. Phil show, he was like, you might have a point here, Kyle. I mean, how's that sorting out right now for you today?
Well, again, I've gone into this and down this road because of the science. I didn't go into it blindly. I went into it with blind hope that I would find an answer because I couldn't find an answer for all of these medical conditions that I was being faced with from a decade in the trenches of the National Football League, playing over 100 NFL football games. This is, something that was initially shown to me in a real true experience where I can say that cannabis truly saved my life. And then going into the science as to why, because I had to know. I have to not just go into anything blindly. I was a first-round draft pick. I've done everything right. I'm not going to take my health and put it in the balance of just anything. That's what's gotten us into this mess, is that everybody's just perpetuated this idea of, I'll do whatever it takes. And as the science turns out to be, you should not be doing that. And we should be exposing the cannabinoid system that is in every human being that operates directly with our immune system and our central nervous system and has receptors scattered across our entire body and framework as humans. And we are made of these things that genetically mimic what is in this plant that God made. We could extract cannabinoids from a human body. Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton and those guys they knew about that, and that's what they were trying to do. I don't know, but I'm trying to expose this plant and how easily it is that this can work for people, and why so many people have gone throughout history speaking about it to the extent of it being in every religious book known to man, and that the herbs of the earth are for our benefit. And so by the science, we can go and talk cannabinoids all day long and not even discuss this plant at all. It's inside of us. We have THC levels. We have CBD levels. We have all of these things you're hearing about you don't know how to pronounce. You have them all. They're inside your body, and they're in the center of your brain in this unbelievably amazing human system, an organ that is not discussed in the United States medical schools, called the endogenous cannabinoid system. And that is an unbelievable non-conspiracy. It is truth. It exists. They know it, and they refuse to let the public understand how it functions.
Yeah. Now, if people that are listening did not hear my show with you a couple years ago about how cannabis saved your life, tell us real quick again as a reminder. Cannabis did save your life. It got you off those opioids that were killing you, right?
Well, I mean, I was on 12 different medications for 20 plus years. I've been playing in the NFL, playing college football. You get these injuries. These things happen if you keep playing, and you get back out there. So, unfortunately, I played a football career in the era of big pharmaceutical, and we were the guinea pigs for these companies to test out their pharmaceuticals.